probably a decent amount of the country that doesn't know it stands for music television. And that's like, in a way, how good their branding is that you recognize this channel, but like, you go there for whatever it is now, guy code, I don't really know, it's real world, maybe that's still a thing, but it's a recognizable brand.
Yeah, you're always going to know what it is.
Yeah.
So.
I forgot, guys, if you want to tweet about it, because we forgot to give Aurora her moment to do introductions, which is all on me. You can introduce at the end and see sort of like an event in reverse, but if you're tweeting, which you should be, or snapping, or Instagramming, our hashtag is VideoGuys@GU.
GU Video
Oh,
Guys.
we switched it. We switched it. It's GU Video Guys. That works too. Either one. Okay, back to business.
Yeah, so this is really quick. This is more of a personal thing for me, speaking of humor and personal branding. This is from The Office. I went on a tweet storm about a week ago about how much I love this picture. And this is like, for me, the best type of branding. This is the kind of stuff I nerd out about. You know, you talked about Fiona Apple. When I was like younger, even like in high school, I got all like The Office DVD sets and listened to all the commentary and I got really into the writing and how it all went and was intricate. And I still recommend DVD box sets just for the commentary and deleted scenes. I think they're amazing. And so when I saw this chart, also with just like an encyclopedic knowledge of The Office, I recognized all these references they were making. This is Dwight, the assistant to the regional manager, and I made a chart for Michael, who's trying to figure out how to make a decision and basically not have to make that decision himself. And Dwight has made this thing, he called himself the original assistant regional manager, even though he's not, and he's got himself above Jim, who's his big rival, who's now assistant regional manager. There's a reference in one of the episodes that Dwight follows all the women of The Office menstrual cycles, so you see these moons everywhere. He put these little icons next to characters, like Andy Bernard, he's got a graduate hat. That's because that character for 2 seasons up to this point talks about how he's from Cornell, and or went to Cornell. Stanley, the 2 black people in The Office, Stanley and Daryl have a fist. Toby Flenderson has a, this is not mine, this is Dwight, the fictional character's word. He's got a Jewish star with a question mark next to it because Dwight's not sure if he's Jewish. Oscar, who is gay, he was added 2 seasons before this, has 2 male signs next to it. Kevin, who is probably Irish but also likes to gamble, has a lucky shamrock next to him. So there's all kinds of things happening just in this one picture. There's even more to go over, but essentially that's like my personal favorite type of branding is when you are able to reference pretty much everything in one still in a video. One more, this is a really quick one. This is just another example of branding, another Disney thing. Everyone knows about Marvel. They built this universe. I think we've all kind of gotten numb to it at this point, in the sense that we just recognize another Marvel movie is coming out and it's connected within this universe. But that was introduced, you know, what was it, like 10 years ago when the first Iron Man came out and Incredible Hulk, and they just said they were going to do this. Everyone thought they might make it to the first Avengers movie. Now they're like, you know, going to Infinity Wars, and I can nerd about this stuff. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They have made this universe that's already over 20 movies, and that's another type of branding. Okay, so
Well,
no, yeah, go ahead. You start.
No, you go.
Oh,
so
no.
you still work.
All right, so we both worked here. When I first got here, and actually you, it was still IJR Review, yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. We worked. It was called IJR Review. That was the site, and this was the logo. It's definitely my least favorite logo of the 3. And as we started making video, we had to figure out how to incorporate the logo as well as just figuring out a personal or a company brand. And some of our first videos have this, and even when I look at them, the videos feel different just seeing the logo in the corner. When I see the videos that had this was our second logo. That to me was kind of our heyday of video in terms of like we just were putting out videos multiple ones a week. And I think a lot of people came to recognize this little box as some of the best videos in political news. And I'm not just saying that. I think, you know, starting with Lindsey Graham and a lot of the other presidential candidates we did videos with, this box would appear on the screen first before anything else and expand, and that was an IJ video. We had to rebrand for a few reasons to this logo, which is a little bit clunkier, but definitely cleaner than that logo. And that's kind of like the next stage of IJ video is that logo and trying to incorporate it. But I don't know what else you want to say about
Just when I first got to IJ, IJR, Dave was already there, but there was no videos, so we were essentially like starting blank canvas. And luckily for us, we pretty much had like no restrictions. It was sort of like they opened up, you know, just like a playground as kids, and they were like, all right, do whatever you want forever.
Yeah.
Which was great because we got to get like as weird as we wanted for a while, which wasn't always the best thing, but it allowed us to like definitely,
Except for Vine. For Vine, it was the best.
yeah, for Vine was good. But it like really allowed us to experiment and figure out like what worked and what didn't, and like especially when you have an audience like IJ's, like you really have to like figure out what they want to see. What I think what ended up happening was as far as like the video stuff at IJ, it was like a sort of separate thing from editorial. We kind of were on our own island. We did things strictly for the internet audience and people who were really like super into politics. And I think it was great because we had like this mishmash of a crew from all these different backgrounds who a lot of us like didn't know anything about politics. We were coming from like, I was coming from ads / like music world, Dave from like comedy world. We had like a skater dude in there, and like
the skater, that's
like
sure.
So we had like all these different people, all these different perspectives coming in, and a lot of us again like didn't know much about politics. So when we were going in trying to like come up with these concepts, like we didn't really care about sort of you know, like offending people or like hitting the right message for a lot of these like politicians that we work with. Like we just wanted to do like weird shit, and I think that's you know like the reason that we were successful a lot of times, because we just would go in there, we would talk to these a lot of these public figures, and we'd be like, hey, would you do this? And if we could convince them, you know, we would start with like the weirdest thing, and then we would usually like get them down to like something that like we actually wanted to do, and that they were comfortable with.
I would say the weirdest thing. We just started with like the simplest thing they could understand and be like, well, what if?
Right.
What if you set the phone on fire?
Yeah. So like, for example, like let's use like the Lindsey Graham. Like, who's seen that video? The Lindsey Graham. So, okay, exactly. So with that, we got a call the night before. They're like, hey, this thing happened with Trump giving out his cell phone. He wants to come in, and he wants to send out like a message essentially, and he's down to do a video. And we were like, okay, what can we do? And we were just getting into Vines at that point.
The only video we'd really done was Psychic Bob, which was a psychic predicting a presidential election, and he did not do a good job. But we did not have. I'm saying this because we did not have a lot of. It's crazy that Lindsey Graham said yes, but
yeah, because we didn't have any videos, and we had actually just bought this new camera that did like slow mo, and so they pitched him on Vines, and we were like, no, let's not do Vines. We just got this brand new beautiful camera and shot like awesome slow mo. We were like, all right, let's have him destroy some stuff, but let's make a video out of it. Came in the next day. We set up early in the morning. He came in for like an hour. We shot for an hour. As we were shooting, we were like dumping the cards to the computer and editing at the same time, and we had it up within the next hour by 10 a.m. And that was like our first.
That was without patting ourselves on the back too much. That was like the birth of our brand, more or less.
Yeah,
because that video was on the front of YouTube that day, and like instantly, like we suddenly had that. Everyone at work was like, "Yeah, make more of those, of course." And there were certainly failures in between then and like
definitely
the end of the election, so to speak. But we just had a clear runway to do that, and kind of what you're getting at, the immediacy of it was the most important thing, because that video was out less than 24 hours after Trump stood there and read the phone number for Lindsey Graham, and all of a sudden we just had this video. And that was the same day, actually. You guys might have seen the reel that we shot the Snapchat thing on the mall.
Yeah, it was the same
where
day.
I just was running around in a Speedo, and we're like, this is a really weird day for us. It was good.
So Axios is a totally different thing. I came in there to help start the video brand there, but as opposed to IJ, like there was a lot of things already in place. There was like a voice, a brand, an audience that there wasn't an audience that was already built. You know, it was they were building an audience. We still are building an audience, but they knew the type of person that they wanted to reach. So they're like, it wasn't a thing where they were like, here you go, like just do whatever the hell you want. It was more like at Axios, like we definitely have to like think more about the things that we produce, and there's definitely like there has to be more buy-in, there has to be more say, and it's not something where like we can just put it out. Not to say that we just put stuff out.
I just like to look at the logo like it's gonna be like
Axios. But yeah, so it's definitely a completely different challenge. And going back to brands, that's always going to be the challenge. Is trying to find basically like the content that works that for your audience.
Yeah.
So this is a picture of a bunch of garbage, which is what you're gonna have to do when you start making videos and start like anywhere in your career really. Like you're gonna make so much garbage, and that's a good thing.
You have to make the garbage. It would be amazing if you just sat down at the piano like Beethoven at 5 and do video. That's not how it works.
Like I've made way more bad videos than good videos for sure. So yeah, I guess the point of this slide is just like always make stuff. It's gonna be bad, but like it will get you to.
It's just an experience thing. I think, and we'll get into editing in a little bit, but especially with editing, that's the best example I can think of. Like that is something for me, which I love editing, but it took a while to even really figure out my own flow. I think in some ways doing Vine was the best thing because every day we were making like a handful of 6-second videos and just trying to get them out right away, and that was the quickest way for me to pick something up. And with any part of video, it's just making that garbage, just building up that pile.
Yeah. My first, when I was in college, I was a freshman, I had my first video class. The professor, it was our first project, and he assigned us like a 3-minute, it was like a documentary, like go out, shoot whatever you want, like make something, make a documentary, pick a topic. And I decided I wanted to like do this thing on my, there were 2 of my best friends, they were in a band. And I turned in a 28-minute documentary, which was so bad, and still makes me uncomfortable to this day how bad it is.
We watched it on Sunday, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was real bad. But like that just goes to show like you will have no sense of like timing when you first start, and you will think that like a 28. Maybe
that's the most important thing. I think like almost the exact same story in terms of the first documentary, where like it could have been 5 minutes and been like okay, but it was 22 minutes and just people sitting there talking, and I was like, this is Oscar, this is amazing.
Yeah,
yeah. So
make your stuff short.
Yeah,
make it try to make it as short as possible.
And be open to criticism.
This is Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction.
Nice.
Opening up it's a good gift.
Yeah.
But like you're gonna make a ton of garbage, and then eventually you're gonna like find gold. And like when you finally make that thing where it's, I know it goes on forever.
Yeah. No. I want to keep watching Sam.
You're gonna like keep making garbage, and eventually you'll figure it out, and you will make that one thing, and you'll be like, all right, this is it. I did it. And then hopefully you'll be able to.
Right. Well, that's the most mad thing about video is like I'll get a high for about a day, and the next day it's like at least maybe that's just my own self-esteem. I'm like I gotta make another one right now, or else I'm garbage. So,
yeah, and also you'll even when you do make something really really great, even when you do make something really great, you're gonna spend so much time with it that you're gonna hate it anyway.
Did you just stop and smile for that picture?
No, it wasn't. But anyway, yeah.
So this next slide is my snap story from the first Maybe episode we made.
This is embarrassing.
It's amazing. Don't play it yet.
Yeah.
So we
set that up. I'm gonna sit down.
Maybe was a series that Rob and I started at IJR, and the general idea is just conspiracy theories, and it was just me as a character trying to take them seriously, and we tried to find the humor in like the crazy conspiracy theories. So we have this.
Tell them about a few.
Yeah, so the first one that we actually shot was Is Trump a Democratic Plant? And we actually had Mo, with Hannah's help, in an interview at the Bulldog Tavern which is still my favorite interview because, like, I'm not just saying this because we're in Hogwarts at Georgetown, but like, he was the best interview because I just said, hey, just look straight ahead and just answer my questions and try to act like you're some secret agent or something, and he was perfect. He kind of spoiled me because I thought everyone was going to be as good as him, but that's not the case. So we shot that one. It was done. It was good. We were happy with it. And then there's that video of Hillary Clinton falling on her way at the 9/11 service to the car. And all these conspiracy theories started popping up. You know, InfoWars, Drudge Report. They were like, "Oh my God, she's dying of chickenpox." Anyway, so like when we have to make a video because it's relevant and it's part of what the series is about, is essentially showing how ridiculous these theories are, and hopefully someone either thinks that it's crazy or at least they watched the video and enjoyed it. So we had basically like, I think we were in Costa Rica when this happened. So when he got back, I'm like, welcome back, then we have to do this one first. And we had about a week and a half to...
I think it was a week.
Yeah, it's close to that. Yeah, anyway. To make a video that ended up being about 5 minutes long, which is long for a video that had 4 interviews.
Yeah, we had to schedule 4 interviews. We had to
write a script.
We had to write the script. We had to go shoot that. And this was like essentially like a 3-person team.
Yeah, and
two
this
people in production.
This story starts about 23 hours before we released it. This is the day before.
This is super embarrassing for me, but
I think it's great.
All right, Rob, what are you filming today? Sadness.
Welcome to Robin Collins Street Smarts DVD.
This is when we got matching outfits while they did.
yeah, we were
Welcome to Robin
Procrastinating. This is
in the middle of the edit session at 1 a.m.
That you can fuck. Learn what you need to know to get your hustle onto the streets, boy.
This is 2 a.m. This is 3. Before everything.
This is when we realized we had to clean everything up because we just left it everywhere and Rob was still editing.
God damn it. Are we done?
We're done.
So that was the worst night of my life. But one of the better days. We put the video out. It did pretty well. I was asleep when it was going everywhere. But
We were up for like 48 hours straight, though. That's sort of the point of this.
That was tough. And that was, there's a couple of takeaways there. One, you should plan a little better. We didn't have that much time to plan in our defense in this case. But the other is sometimes it's worth those late hours, or that's just kind of how video is. The nature of it, and this is like a film cliche, but it's true. Like if something will go wrong, it's going to go wrong. And I wouldn't say things went terribly wrong in this, but it was just like, it took a while. So,
yeah. And this was also like the first episode we were putting out, so a lot of like the style, a lot of the things like by episode 5 that we sort of like had figured out, we knew how we were going to shoot it. We were like still in like kind of like figuring out how the series would flow, how the edit would flow, like how long it would be, and just like what it would feel like.
And
so,
the brand.
Yeah,
and so like we wanted to make that first episode as good as we thought the Trump plant one was, and to match it. I mean, to really make it so that these videos were always going to be coherent and had the same sort of feel and vibe to them. And and Colin helped.
Yeah, and Colin helped.
Yeah.
Colin, if you're watching. This is
the set. So
this is the maybe set that we built.
We built all the walls. We went and got this desk and everything from this weird warehouse for the University of Maryland. Altogether, it cost about $800, which is I'm still very proud of myself. I'll tell anyone that. And if you can't see it, but the lighting was just like really weird clamps and just terrible tripod set up and leaned against the ceiling, and we made it work though.
I mean, it was very DIY. Like we didn't have
Yeah.
a studio in our old space. I mean, this was like a studio, quote unquote. Yeah, I mean, it was basically just an office that we turned into a place that we shot in. So like it wasn't the most ideal situation. There was like AC in there, and
I forgot about that.
it wasn't great. But like we made it work. We blacked out all the windows, and we hung all the lights from the pipes.
Yeah. Well, at one point in the middle of building this, they installed the white noise in our office, and they installed it in the video studio because you want noise in there. So that was frustrating. It's uninstalled now.
this is a set that we did for a native piece that we did.
Native videos are nightmares, but can be fun.
Yeah.
I think this was the most fun one.
You guys all know what native is?
So native, for anyone that doesn't know, a native video, as it pertains to like a website like us or Axios, IJR, or BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
BuzzFeed does a lot of these. They do a lot of native articles as well, where essentially they are helping to sell a product because that product paid them a lot of money. And you kind of try to do it in a way that this person that's consuming the video or article enjoys it and actually has fun watching this video. This was for API, it's American Petroleum Institute. Yeah, so it wasn't my favorite one to do it for, but they actually had this new initiative where they're trying to get all kinds of energy, including wind energy. So they just really want us to make a video about how you use energy all the time, no matter what type of energy it is. And so we came up with this concept after some brainstorming of a party that can only run if someone's running on the treadmill. And so it's a little bit of a lie, but the lights and everything are powered as long as someone is running on the treadmill throughout the party. So we got a lot of friends, some other random people, and we said you can only party as long as someone is running there. Eventually, someone was kind of drunk and fell off the treadmill, but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
This is like one of the other series we did. It was a thing where I just wore my Eagle Scout uniform because people can't say no to you when you're in your uniform on the street, even if you're 25. And it actually ended up leading to this interview, which was really, for me, it was a big deal. This is Bob Gates. He's the former Secretary of Defense, and at the time was president of the Boy Scouts. He just does whatever he wants now. But the Boy Scouts liked our videos so much that they let me go and see Bob Gates in his home in Seattle with all this heavy security, which was nuts. But these slides right now are just make it work type of slides, and I really wanted to do something with an actual, interview an actual person of importance. And I just bugged the Boy Scouts until they let me, and they actually flew us out to Seattle to do this, so that was pretty cool.
This is just a random shoot.
Just a random shoot, yeah. Oh, you can talk about this. Terrible.
So when we were when I was at IJ, we hosted a debate, and they booked everybody from it was in New Hampshire, and they booked everybody really close to the venue, and they booked us about an hour and a half away in a cabin in the middle of the woods.
Like up against a mountain, like just
yeah.
And it snowed a foot or something.
Yeah, it snowed that weekend, but basically we had like 11 videos to get done for this event for the debate that we were co-sponsoring, and we were 2 hours away, and we had poor internet, and we were snowed in.
It was essentially the definition of cabin fever. Like we actually experienced what that is. And
Dave ate hot dogs for like 4 days
I
straight.
ate so many hot dogs. That's all we had. Hot dogs and cheese puffs.
But anyway, like we figured it out, and this was just
another thing I had to figure out. I forgot to do the debate. This is when we used an intern as a tripod, so we forgot a tripod. And this is one of maybe our first shoot. This is Todd Townsend. So this is when you're shooting through the van. I don't remember that. So
and that's
us.
Me and Dave.
Okay. So basically, what we thought we would do with the last, how much time do we have? 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Sort of on the I guess the wave of like branding and what we have to do a lot in our personal jobs is pitching. Pitching is something I have to do pretty much constantly, even in like freelance work or when you're talking to like just people at work and they just want you to start a new series, even though there's like a 90% chance they won't use it. So a pitch is just sort of the who, what, where, and when of a series.
Before we get to that though, we kind of like talked about like branding, coming up with things that work for your audience. But if you guys have any like technical questions, we didn't get into that.
Oh, questions.
Yeah, questions.
Yeah.
Just because they're technical stuff, it's sort of just have to do it. But go ahead. Yeah. Any questions?
Can you walk us through how you came up with all the different scenarios for the Lindsey Graham event? Because you said they contacted you that night and you had it done by 10 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah. So I remember we got an email that it was happening, and I remember specifically like I think maybe a few of us replied all with ideas. We had like 10 ideas each, and I don't know which ones fell through or which ones ended up working. There were some really weird ones in there. But he just knew he was destroying his phone. And we actually Colin went out and he bought 8 different flip phones because they're like $10. And so there was a bunch of different flip phones. That's the dirty secret of that video. It wasn't just one phone. And so I think once he got there, we just, from what I remember, this is a while ago now, we just started with the most simple thing. It was like, here's a phone, hit it with, we have it hanging from a fishing line, hit it with this katana sword.
Yeah, I had a katana that my best friend got for me before I left for DC. I don't know why he was like, anyway. But anyway, he bought me a katana.
It's like a wooden, anyway. So he was like, that was an easy enough thing. Like, okay, now you want to hit it with the golf club. Okay, now would you like to put the phone in a blender, which almost killed him because of it. In the video, you see it go out this way, it breaks the blender. If it had just gone right at Lindsey Graham,
and then he decided to light it on fire himself. He was
super into that.
That was his request.
and then something came. I just remember I had to like throw something into a pile of dirt because the fire was getting a little bit bigger.
Also, side note on Lindsey Graham, he's like one of the coolest people.
He was the coolest one. He's my favorite candidate
ever, and he was just so eager. Like, we could have suggested anything. He would have been like, let's do it. Let's do it right now.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he was just in a kind of go-getter mood that day. Maybe he always is, but he's like, no, I'm going to set this on fire. I mean, we don't even know if our fire alarm works or if these sprinklers work, because there's sprinklers everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. So,
but to answer your question, like, it was very much like a collaborative event, even from him, like from his side. Like, we tossed ideas out, they tossed ideas out, and then we like knocked them all out in an hour. So that's how that happened.
Yeah. Any other random questions? Any questions that doesn't really technical?
Even on the technical side, like I'll speak to that if there's anything on editing or.
I know y'all are not this quiet.
That's a question. So, based on my knowledge of Axios, there are a lot of kind of going off of the native advertising kind of side of things. There are some sponsors at Axios, JP Morgan, Chase, the Coke Industries, stuff. BP Oil is one of them. Do you predict there being a lot of native ads for those kind of companies? What do you see coming in the future in that kind of realm for Axios?
Yeah, so like as like somebody who does content, like what you always want is you like the goal is like sponsored. Like you want to have editorial say, obviously, and also like that allows you to sort of put your creative vision into the projects.
Sponsored is different from native.
Yeah, sponsored is different from native. So sponsored content is company pays you, you have editorial say. Native is you don't have editorial say. However,
you don't have final editorial say.
You don't have final.
And sometimes there's some other like little things in there where they say you have to do this, you have to do that. But,
yeah, basically they act as you act as the creative, they act as the client. It's more of like a traditional advertising relationship. As far as Axios goes, like at the end of the day, there definitely will be.
But those are mostly sponsored, right?
Yeah, like
which is better. Like that's what Tim and I prefer, because again, you have that control at the end, and they go, whatever, put our name on it, you're good, kind of thing.
Totally.
And I think so. Kind of to answer your question more, like whether it's good or bad, there's probably more native ads than you're really aware of. I don't think a lot of people that treadmill video had any idea. At one point, BuzzFeed repurposed the video and put it in like GIFs, as they are wont to do. And it mentioned API at the very end, but like the article was just like, these people had a treadmill party, like, which was in a way a good native article, I guess, if someone got to the end and saw the API. But in other words, like it's sort of everywhere. I think personally, not only do I prefer sponsored in terms of because you get a giant budget and you get final editorial, but I prefer it because it's a little more out there, like, especially with Axios, you guys have like the logo on the bottom, right? Like it's not, no one's trying to hide it. It's just like, this is, Wells Fargo is part of this, whatever, but like you can tell watching it, like it's not really affecting the video.
Totally, and at the end of the day, like you want to make sure that when you are doing those projects, like when you do put it out into the wild, like it's just like a very clear, there's just a big difference between like how those feel, how those look, if it's within the same series,
Yeah.
at least. So.
Do we do a good job?
Yeah.
Any other question? Hey,
Feedback.
Yeah, one minute.
So this is also about Axios videos.
Mhm.
I noticed they're very short, at least the ones that I've seen, and they have like really cool people, and they're really short.
Mm-hmm.
Do you normally like how long do you film? Because I can imagine if you spend like an hour with Valerie Jarrett, she would probably want something longer than like a 1 minute video. But I'm not sure how that works.
No, that's a good question. So it depends on the person and like how much time they're willing to give us. Like last week we went to New York and did Richard Pupler from HBO, the CEO, and he gave us like an hour and a half. Like he just wanted to talk. But before that we did like Ariana Huffington. She gave us like 15 minutes. So it's up to them. At the end of the day, like, you know, they agreed to the interview. Like we can kind of put out whatever we want. However, you know, it depends on the interview actually, because if the content is really good, like yeah, we can string it out and stuff like that. But I think like as far as like the first videos that come out, you know, it's smart brevity. So we want to keep things short, concise. We don't want to waste people's time. We want to give, you know, one thing that I always ask myself, like when making a video, and also advice that I've got, like, and this goes for anything, like if an article, any content, like when you're making it, would you want to read this? Would you want to watch this? So like that's sort of what I ask myself when I'm creating something. Like would I spend time to consume this type of content? And that's sort of how I make decisions in terms of editing and time. So
Yeah, and that's probably a weird, like the best thing of having a video team is that, you know, Rob will say, I don't really think, this is what you're getting at earlier, like I don't think I'd watch that. And like our friend Bubba, who's the skater dude, whatever, he's like, I wouldn't watch that. But there was moments when we all go, oh, I would watch that. And like generally speaking, I would say like 99% of the time, the videos where all of us were excited about and felt like they were gonna do well, they did well. Because especially if you have a good diverse video team, that's like the best case scenario. I know we're way off your question now, but yeah.
And actually, like speaking to that too, like when you are working with a team like that, like you want to be able to like you at least this is more of a blunt way of saying it, but like anybody that I work with, like I want to be able to just like tear whatever they're doing apart, and I want them to do the same with me. Like I want them to just like rip it apart, just be as blunt, as honest as possible, because at the end of the day, like that's what the internet does, right? Like if you go out,
if he doesn't do it, someone else is
like
gonna.
look at like YouTube comments, look at Facebook comments. Like somebody out there is going to tear it apart. So like tear it apart before you put it out there. Figure out what the flaws in the product are, and then try to like make changes and iterate as best as possible.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, sort of the danger of the internet. In that way, a good thing, because if you care enough about a brand and it's that important, you don't want to put out something stupid. But when you get it right, that people recognize that as well. And not to say Lindsey Graham again, but that was like the perfect storm of how they do that. If someone's asking how they do that, that's like the best. That's the best feeling, I think.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if like people are, I can't believe they were able to get them in there or whatever, or get Ted Cruz to shoot big machine gun big or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Would you say video skills are transferable from industry to industry? So if you're good in politics, you'll be good in whatever, music or other realms. Yeah.
I think if like sometimes if you're too close to something, it actually like makes it worse. I don't know. Like I think that one of the most important things is having like a diverse team around you, like so that there are like checks and balances. At the end of the day, like that I think is what creates. I mean, if you have like one perspective on something, it's probably not going to be, it's probably not going to be good.
That's like kind of my favorite thing about video. Like, I think a common trend, and this will probably be true for Rod's videos too, with stuff that I like, is something that has like two competing worlds. Like the Boy Scout series was like, why there's just this guy with a uniform and he's doing man on the street. So it was like two very different random passions, like Jimmy Kimmel meets this elf. And I think when you have like other influences, you know, like a music video guy is trying to make a political video, you're going to come up with something that's super unique and people in DC haven't seen before, which is exactly what would happen. So, is that kind of what you were asking?
And like to expand on that too, like you know, if we were doing a video on like a specific, you know, topic, or like a doc, for example, and I didn't know what, you know, I didn't know the data behind it, or I wasn't the one doing the research. Like, I'm gonna bring that person in. My job will be to make it look super dope and make the edit, to make the edit like super clean, crisp, and then I'll let them worry about like all the data and I'll making sure like everything's on point on that end, you know. So like just if you're good at video, you're good at video, you're good at video, and you can build a team or have people around you that shape everything else out.
And one thing that, like, a motto for Rob that I think you said verbatim before is, I'm not afraid to ask something stupid. And that's very valuable, especially if you're making a video and it's about some politician you don't know anything about. If you just keep going forward without really knowing that you made a mistake or that you've now called this Democrat or Republican. I get the smallest of things that you don't try to protect your own pride when you're making a video.
Or anything.
Yeah, or anything, but like especially on the internet, video is so blatantly out there. If you make a mistake, like people are going to see it right away.
Yeah, I'm wrong a lot, so.
Well,
just, you know,
ask all
keep.
questions.
I'm just ask questions.
Yeah.
And keep.
You first.
Alright, I was wondering how you guys feel about things like Snapchat and Vine and like Facebook Live and all those sorts of things, like how they're affecting the video industry in general, like good, bad, otherwise.
I have a few perspectives.
Don't talk to me about Vine.
Well, Vine, yeah, we missed Vine. Vine
It was like the worst breakup of my life.
It really was. Well, that's not true. But Vine, like, kind of going down the list here, the parameters of Vine were one of the best things creatively, because as soon as you put yourself literally in a box and you have to figure out how to make that work within 6.5 seconds, that's what I was talking about earlier with editing. It made my editing so much more concise because I had to figure out how to make, usually we did like kind of joke Vines, like make that joke work. And I think that, you know, talking about what Axios does more for everything, like that probably helped you in some ways in terms of like going to there, if you just kind of.
Yeah, constraint is always good. In fact, like if you guys are making videos, I would challenge yourself to like, hey, tell this story in X amount of time using like X equipment. You know, like that's another thing too. I didn't touch on, but I wanted to. Is just like when I first started out, I always was like, oh, you know, I can't do this because I don't have this tool or I don't have this best camera or whatever. But, you know, like an iPhone shoots 4K, and most of the stuff that gets consumed online is from a phone these days. So I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, and sometimes getting it out there, like Lindsey Graham wasn't perfect. You know, like the lighting wasn't perfect. He like ripped the backdrop. Like there was all these like mistakes and errors.
That was like a good imperfection.
Yeah, it was. But like I'm just saying, like we shot it in an hour, we edited it in an hour. If we had more time, we would have done like cooler stuff probably. But at the end of the day, like we did it, we put it out there, and it performed like crazy. So like sometimes just do it. You know?
Sorry, to reel back, I'm thinking all about Snapchat right now. So Snapchat, I love everything about it, even though I tell our friend that I just mess with her. We have a friend who like loves Snap Story and hates Instagram, what they're doing and stealing it, so I like to make fun of her. But Snapchat is incredibly innovative. The only thing I don't like is the vertical video, because I think it's just teaching people to walk around like this when you have a 4K camera in your pocket and you could just be shooting like something that 6 years ago I had like this flip camera thing and I was so excited I had it and shot like 420,
yeah,
shot like nothing. But Snapchat is incredible. There's this article that came out today as Business Insider, and it kind of talked about how the camera is the future of sort of the internet, so to speak. In a lot of ways, and Snapchat has accidentally led that up. Just talking about the math that goes behind when you like hold your face and you get a filter and you're a dog. There's a lot of stuff going on in that exact moment, and that technology. Yeah, I know that you like the dog one. That technology is actually like changing a lot of things, and it's actually affecting. There's now this technology where a refrigerator can tell if you took a Coke out just by using that same sort of recognition technology, and that stuff could affect everything and because of Snapchat and what they did to do it. It's like Microsoft, was it Xbox had Kinect or yeah, like that didn't do so well as a game system, but that kind of technology as well. Now it's all coming together with Snapchat. So everything Snapchat's doing that's so innovative, I think is just incredibly important. I also think the way that you tell a story, it's the inverse of your Facebook newsfeed, in that as soon as I go and look at Hannah's story, it starts from the beginning. So, and the way that you're able to update it over 24 hours is really interesting, because it's actually a case of the more you do, the better, because you keep showing it at the top of people's timeline. You know, like obviously you don't want to flood people with your Snapchat story too much to the point where they unfollow you, God forbid. But there's a way there where you can learn it, you get very creative. So I love Snapchat for that reason. Facebook Live, I don't know. You can talk about Facebook Live if you want. I don't know what your actual feelings
I think that Facebook Live, like, there was like really good intentions there, and I think it's amazing for certain situations. It's amazing for experiential things. So like, if you can't be somewhere and there's something happening and there's not a news crew there, and you get to see that, and it's raw and live, it's great. But like, I don't want to see like, you know, 400 rubber bands around a watermelon and having.
Well, we all did it first though.
And yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I just don't think like that, like having live video.
It's not a sustainable thing at this point.
And like also you have like all these publishers who are sending these people, like journalists, out into the field with Facebook Live, and they're journalists. They're not like on camera talent a lot of times. Some people are great, but like majority is like this, you know, like awkward person who's not used to being on camera, and like that's not a good experience for the consumer, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the one really good thing about that is there are probably people not unlike Vine stars and YouTube stars that now can develop a following on Facebook Live because they did find out that I'm pretty good at this Facebook Live thing, and so that's great. That's kind of how I view it, in that like it'll quickly weed out the people that are good and bad at it, including organizations that do Facebook Live. So I don't think it's really going anywhere, but I wonder if it's going to be as big to Facebook as they think it is, but who knows. We're about out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time.
Okay, we'll ask them real fast.
Sorry, I can just.
Yeah.
Okay. 360 video. You guys done anything with that? Do you plan on doing anything with that?
Well, the first video we shot was that cabin we were stuck in, and we just bought a camera and we did a scary movie, which was super weird.
For that stuff, like again, like I think like that requires like kind of specific conditions and environments to be successful. Like it's either like something that you haven't seen before, but a lot of times I think that 360 works is just like action stuff. Like I think it has to be like super crazy for it to be engaging, in my opinion.
I will say this is kind of weird you brought it up, because yesterday, the first 360 video where I watched beginning to end, and this is just my own weird personal interest, was a Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, like basically a DVD extra, but like on the Facebook thing, and it had commentary going, and it was showing like the set that they had built, one of the sets they built in the movie, and you could like really get a look at the set. And that's actually been around for a while. Like a lot of movie sites always have these 360. But it was like people moving around, it was people putting makeup on before they actually shot that day, whenever that was. And there's like you said, there's just a lot going on. So like when it's totally immersive like that and it's something to really care about, I think it works. But I think when it's like, you know, we're here at the football game and you can't even really, it's a worse experience because it's less definition and it's not like a nice 4K TV showing it, you know. I think it has to be something totally immersive to work.
Yeah.
Alright. Guess that's it.
We were we were gonna do like a project thing, but
We don't have time. It's okay.
Y'all have to go.
I don't.
You can- yeah, it's-
I remember exactly what we called it. Like, oh, it's over. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
But
either way.
yeah. Well, just I guess we'll tell you what the idea was having you guys pitch something within the parameters of like a big website we made up. So that's just an exercise you can do on your own in terms of like we talked about with Vine. Just maybe cut a 10-second video every day, or do something that you will learn a lot. Like it's a lot of writers like writing prompts. There's actually a great subreddit called writing prompts, and if you're doing that every day, it's like a muscle, whether it's editing or writing or doing something. So that's
one resource that I use in college a lot to just like get better at editing and shooting too was Vimeo has this thing called like Vimeo Weekend Project. They'll send out an email every weekend, and it'll be like, here is a thing to make, and here are the parameters, and this is when it's due, and then they like pick a winner every week. But it's just like a good way to just go out and do stuff. So,
in conclusion, do stuff.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.